Hello, retail traders. I'm Washboardjim with a sneaky snake trading strategy where I love talking about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And today I thought I would bring you kind of a seminar on how I open up in the morning, how I look for trades in the morning, and what gets me going in the morning. I went out and I've lost a lot of weight here in the last 4 months. I've been on a real strict diet and exercising and trying to build up a little bit more bulk in my body, but losing weight at the same time. And so today I went out shopping. I got me some new cologne. I got me a bunch of new shirts. I got one on right now. I'm going to be definitely going from a large to a medium size, which I think I haven't seen since high school. I've always wore the large shirts. I've not been very fat, but I've been overweight. And here lately, as I get older, I have to kind of watch my diet a little bit better and take a little bit better care of my health. And I feel a lot better since I've lost that 20 pounds. I'm sleeping better. There's a lot of good things that have changed in my life. I'm more positive. I'm not lugging all that trash around anymore. And I just feel a lot better. I mean, I can breathe better. I got a better jump in my body, and I'm here to start the morning off. I'm excited. I'm ready to go. So I'm going to show you exactly how I start up in the morning. This is the sneaky snake trade strategy where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. This is my morning setup. I have 8 monitors that I look at. I basically use 3 or 4 of them at the most. They're big 20-inch, 32-inch screens. And so I've got a lot of charts up. And I'm looking at my main page right now, where I can go through my watch list and set up my support levels and resistance levels on the SPY and also on the SPX. If we break a certain area, I know we're going to be bullish in the day, and if we pull back to a certain spot, I think we could probably take the trade first thing in the morning. But I like to get out first thing in the morning and take what I call a beach trade. That first hour and a half of the day is the most momentum part of the day. It's where the most scalpers get in and out of the trades, get the job done, and they're off to doing something else. And they don't have to stick around like I have for the last 20 years at this desk trying to teach people how to trade. But it's not them that I'm teaching, it's them teaching me. It gives me more gumption to be precise and work harder. I've learned so much from you guys, even the ones that are virgins to trading. And it's just been an amazing journey for the last 21 years. I'm working on 21 years, April the 4th. So, of this year, I'm going to have a sip of coffee and a drink of Wawa. So, I come in here and I turn on CNBC. That's the only station that's on right now in real time. And I'll get some kind of idea how the world news is going on and what's on their mind. Sometimes I just take it with a grain of salt because they're one of the biggest pumpers out there, CNBC is. But it also gives me good news sometimes of stocks that have news, that there's a reason why it's a breakout or earnings are coming up or something like that. And then once the market opens, I switch it over to Schwab. I appreciate Schwab better. They take a lot of their politics out of it. Oh, I'm glad I had that on mute. Well, let me see here. I want to make sure I got this on mute because they're on right now. I might have to see what's up. I've never really turned it on the weekend. But I pay more attention to Schwab. They have analysts on here, and they go over the trades, and they have a second opinion. Sometimes they have a third opinion on their call-outs. And that's I really love that. They bring someone on like this, and then they go back with their team, and they'll go over it, would chart it up, and do all the good work for you. And I've took many trades off these guys because they're especially during earnings, and they'll pull up news and stuff like that. So I want to be in the now. That's part of my strategy. The next part of my strategy is being prepared to come in here in the morning when the bell rings and take a trade. And I'm going to show you exactly how I kind of do that. Boy, I have to go get some water. as I'm doing this video. So we'll just see if I can keep this up. So this is my watch list. It's got some of my favorite tickers on there. It's my top tickers of the day of that I've been accumulating for the past 4, 5, 10 years, and I'll keep a good eye on them stocks. I like to see what's breaking out in volume. Then I'll check up and pull up the news. So like if I hit NVIDIA, I'll come over here and I'll hit the news thing, and then I'll put up time and sales to see what kind of movement's going on the side and see how big the blocks are in these trades. And I want to read the news and see what the news has got to say. You know, like Dan Ives, he's been very bullish on NVIDIA, as the other fat cats have not been so bullish. He thinks that the market cap will increase, and he has a price target up 175, somewhere up around that area. So I like Dan Ives. That's the first thing that's on here. And I'll read other news that goes along with that entity that I pull up on my scan. This is a watch list. I also have, probably 30, 40, 50, maybe 60 different scans that I can go to in the morning. But I basically just use this watch list, and I'm going to show you 3 different ways that I use the watch list in the morning. First thing I do is I look at the volume. I've already listened to all the news that I want to listen to on CNBC, and that thing gets off the air, and I'll just sit here and argue with them all day long, and that's not constructive. So I'd rather listen to somebody that I enjoy, that has good-looking chicks, and that is Schwab, especially the way I think. I really love the chicks on Schwab. That keeps me excited to keep going on here every day, like Caroline. I mean, she's a babe. So I'll pull up and I'll look at these tickers as the volume highs, and I'll go through the top 5, top 10, and see if any of them on here that I really love, that I trade a lot. And I mean, all of them: NVIDIA, Tesla, SPY, Amazon, PLTR, QQQ, Dell. I haven't traded much, but it's been in the news. AMD, Mara's pulled back some. I'll look at the 20-day 1 hour. I'll get a kind of nickering where we are on that 20-day. We're down below the 200, so this thing could drop to 16 and be a very strong buy, or even drop down here. Yeah, just 16, because then you got a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, with the left shoulder come back and hit that right shoulder one more time. So yeah, somewhere right around that 1560 area will be, to me, a very strong buy. And I'll just keep an eye on them. And I'll go down through the list and see which one's the biggest gainers. And then when the bell opens, I'll also go up here to the percentage part, and I'll look for the day losers and see if there's anything in here that I like, that I think could reverse first thing in the morning, that catches my eye, like Chewy, Upstart, Mara. SMCI's had some real bad problems here with books. So we're after 3-day rule on this big hard pullback. I had 381 support on it, and we hit 395.18, and they're just bad paperwork. So it's a stock that I would probably avoid now. And this thing's up so damn much. I mean, it's pathetic how much this thing has run. If you look at the 3-year, we're at $34, and it run all the way up to 1,200. I mean, hello. As far as I care, this thing can pull back to the 200 and be a very good buy. I mean, it'd still be up 700%, 600%. And that's quite a bit. I've been saying this thing was way overbought during this run. I've said we were in a bubble, and everybody's starting to realize, yeah, we were in kind of a bubble. Well, hell yeah, we were up $34 up to 1,200. I mean, that's just not normal. So yeah, I'll go like, I know Starbucks sucks. And we got big news on it the other day, and she popped up. They can get a new CEO in there. That's the only way it's going to move these crappy stocks. I've not been I love coffee, but I'm not very fond of Starbucks, not one single bit. But I'll look in here and see if there's anything that's red that's even was maybe green yesterday. Then I'll go up here and I'll look at the high percentage and see if I can get a trade out of this first thing in the morning. Like Tesla the other day. I'll pull this back up. We had a nice little breakout on Tesla. Nice little double bottom pullback. I called this trade out. It got out way too soon. I could have made a miracle money. I could have made more money last Friday than I could have probably for the last 3 years. But that's how good Friday was. And it didn't look too good. I mean, if you look at the SPY where I got stuck in, the SPX, I got stuck in it. So I had to worry about that all day if I didn't get stuck in them. But I tried to come out of it greener and probably one of my best trades, but not of the year. It could have been if I held all them contracts. Amazon's on here, it's been a kick butt. We're here first thing in the morning. It hit my support level and bounced up and hit my resistance. So there's a lot of good stocks in here that are in the green, and I'll look at all them for the first right at open. Try to get at least one good trade out of it. But the first one I like trading in the morning is the SPY and the SPX. So I'm sitting here looking at, called out the SPY twice. We got in here and got stuck, and she pulled on back, and I got out of this trade at the high, and then I went straight to the SPX right after it. And this is the one I got stuck in Friday. So I'm going to show you how I chart these in the morning after I get done by looking at this here SPX. SPX was another great trade. I'm going to take these off for right now. This was an excellent trade use the 5-day, 5-minute. The other day I got stuck in this trade. I got out of it green, luckily. And then the next day we had a big breakout, and I traded that one. And then we had the knife, called the put, traded that. And then the next day I traded to bounce up. And then I bought a put, and I sold it way too damn soon. I was very upset about that. Once I hit my 200 SMA, I got out of the trade and bought a call, and that was my big mistake. That's where I got stuck at. Then we created a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders. I got out of the trade once we hit the 200, and that could have been probably one of my biggest trades of the year if I just held the 38 contracts that I had, because I had to cost average down. And then once we started reversing, I started getting green. I was up $1,900 by the time we hit the 200 SMA, and I got out of the trade. We pulled back, and I should have bought that second shoulder line. I did call it out. And I think I might have even scalped it. And then at the end of the day, I think I did scalp it, and then it ran up to $2,200. So that would have been one of my best days. So that's kind of how I look at that. And then I'm going to show you how I chart them up in the morning. I'll go to the 5-day, 5-minute, and I'll see if we could find some kind of support level. Now, if I'd have been paying attention and been more firm about my support level that I called out, and I got a chart, I posted it in the room, and I say, if we hit this certain support, I'm going to buy the stock, or I'm going to wait. If we hit some certain pivot point area, I'm going to get in the stock, or if it breaks a resistance, if it hits a resistance, I want to get out of the stock. But if it breaks this resistance, I think we'll go higher. So the first thing I do, first chart I chart in the morning is the SPY and the SPX. So because I know the SPY will trade in the morning, and that gives me some kind of idea how the market is positioned to trade that day, if it's red or if it pulls back to like my pivot point area that I had here. You can see that I already had this thing charted up. I had pivot point channel of 557.79 to $559, which was right in here. And we broke out from that thing. And then we came right back to it. And then we hit the lowest support that I had on here, which was at 557.79. And we went down below it a little bit. So yeah, this was a great fun trade Friday. Also nerve-wracking because I called this expansion pattern out first thing in the morning. I thought we were going to stay in that expansion, When we hit the 200, I bought the calls, and that's where I got stuck at. And the thing ran down, and I lost every bit that I had in this trade. And I had a lot of money in this trade. I had the puts. I can't believe I sold these puts. I made good money. I made $400, but I could have made 5 or 6 grand on it, in one trade. So yeah, I had 20 contracts on the way down. It would have been nice to hold on to them things. Same thing as the calls up. Then I end up scalping it again and got out at 138, and I'm just going, what the? Runs up to 2 grand. I got in at 60 cents down here, and I sold it for a couple bucks, and then it ran up to 2,200. And I had 38 contracts at an average of around 85 cents, 90 cents, 95 cents. So I'd have made almost 2,000 a contract times 38. You do the math. So I'm going to show you how I chart these things up in the morning, and we're going to clean this up. I'll enlarge this for right now. And I'm going to go to the 5-day, 5-minute. So when I come in the morning, these are going to be 2 things that I'm going to look for to hold support. Will tell me that this stock is still bullish, or if it doesn't hold this support, I think it will pull back. So let me see if I can get a better, I'd like to get that 5-day working a little bit better here. Whoop, I don't know what I was doing there. It's acting awful funny. So we'll go to the 5-day, 5-minute. That'll be better. So then I get a bigger picture of the Darvas box that we've been in for the whole week, and I'm using the 5-minute time frame on 5 days. So I know right here that this support level is going to be the previous day's resistance. If that holds, that'll keep us going straight up the wall as we go up. So I want to put a price line right there on the body of that candle, and that's going to be my major support level at 561.96. If that doesn't hold, I'm going to be looking for a channel of support on the way down, and I see an inverse head and shoulders right here, and I'm going to draw that price line all the way across that inverse head and shoulders on the 5-minute. So that's going to tell me that that could be, if we do knife back and we hit around that 558.69, we could start to rebound and move to the upside. If that doesn't hold, because that's a real solid support, that's called an inverse head and shoulders, and this is your neckline. So I'm going to draw a price line to that, through that neckline of that head and shoulders, and I take it, the body of that candle, and run it up to the body of this one right here, and I'll extend it out to the right, and that'll be my second support level to take this here trade, maybe if we hold that spot and start to run back up. And then when I'm in the trade, if it does pull back to that area, I might want to use that 200 SMA as a pivot point area in the trade. So if I jump in it here, or it starts to reverse, and that this neckline of this here inverse head and shoulders, and run it up to the 200, and then it breaks the 200 SMA and starts to move on up to this triple top here and doesn't break resistance, I'm going to get out of that trade. If it does break it, then I know we're very bullish, because that was the previous day triple top. If you understand what I'm saying. 1, 2 bits, freebie, breakout. The resistance to break, if we go higher, will be the previous high off the body of that candle. You ask, I get a knock on, why don't you use the wicks? I don't use the wicks because they're not consistent. I need something that's consistent. Let's say if I use the wick, I only got one wick. If I use the bodies, I've got body after body after body after body telling me that that's a hard resistance to break. I just got a wick, one wick up here, only one confirmation. I have 4 or 5 right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 confirmations after hours that that's a solid resistance. And if we can't break it, we could easily pull back to this 200. So I've got, this on my mind, this channel right in here for support. And if that doesn't hold, I've got that next support level, which is the neckline of this inverse head and shoulders. And then if that doesn't hold, I have a real strong buy down here at the shoulder line. So I know when I come in the morning, if we hold the triple top, we're still bullish. And if we go below the triple top, then I got to start looking for my different support levels down here at the bottom. This could be a support level right here, this previous high. It could 1, 2, 3 if it doesn't hold the 200. You understand where I'm coming from? So I'm prepared to take the trade in the morning. I know exactly what's going to happen when the bell rings. Now this is a SPY, so it's moving. It could already be down here at the 200 SMA when the bell rings, and I'll take that trade and run it up and try to hit the 63. Like I said, I use chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. I'll have my news up here, and I'll be reading what's going on, like assassination attempt on President Trump, or assassination attempt on, God forbid, on our president and our vice president, or anybody that's in that kind of power. We got a lot of wackos out there right now, a lot of left-wing wackos. If you notice, almost all the serial killers, all the school shootings are all left-wing wackos. That last one that shot Trump was a tranny. So, yeah. That's why they only show that grade school picture of him. They don't show him in a dress or anything like that. So, basically, that's how I come in here in the morning. And then I'll go straight to the SPX. And I've got this strategy set up to where I have my little thing right here that tells me if it might be ready, set, go with my little resistance, computerized AI resistance levels that I can also use. But I'm more dependent upon my numbers than I am of any machine or any kind of high or low stochastic. The only thing that I think I basically run off is the volume. I want to see what kind of volume they're having, see if the buyers and sellers are in control. And then I use this here just as an alert. In case we do start to pull back, I can get an alert here off my alert system. Let me show it to you. This is what I look at in the morning. This also has my charts and stuff up here. Has a couple watch lists, and I have my alert system right in here. So I can change these different watch lists that I've got up in through here. And I can go through these watch lists also, my scans. And of course that's hooked up to my chart over here, so you all can see it too when it pops up. So that's basically what I do, and then I'll go straight to the SPX. It'll be opened up by then, and I can see if the SPX had a big breakout. If I want to buy puts, like we did the other day, we had a breakout. I called the put, and if I'd have stayed in it, I could probably really had my retirement already done, and I'd be out of here. I could be out of here now, but I'm saying last week I did the math. It'd been $170,000 a week if all I had to do was hold my trades. We had 3 black crows right here, and we bounced up into close. That was an easy trade. 3 black crows, and then we boomed on up and broke out and had that big double top breakout, triple top breakout to the end of the day of the previous day highs, which was a triple top on the 5-day period. So I love trading the SPX. You get a lot of money out of it, but you can also lose a lot of money if you don't look at the right spot. So that's basically how I come in, how I look at things. I'm going to do a little small preview of how this is done. Like I said, I turn on my CNBC news in the morning, and I got to listen to what the liberals have to say. They got way too much politics in the game, and I get annoyed. I'm glad I'm not on. People know, people know how I act when I'm listening to CNBC. I'm always arguing with them. So that gets off the air. Once the bell rings, I turn on Schwab, and I kind of come back to reality. I'll look at the volume highs of the day, first thing in the morning, see what's moving. Then I want to look at the news. I never take a trade without step number 3, and that's being in the now. I won't do it. I will not take a trade unless I see the news. Period. And then I'll look at the volume. And then I'll look at the losers. And I'll look at the winners each day. I'm more apt to look at the losers first because I want to see if anything that I really like is dipped, and I can go ahead and buy the dip. These are good stocks. Okay? CRM, CNBC pumped this little bastard. And people are saying, should I buy it? Should I buy it? I said, hell no, don't be buying this stock. CNBC's pumping it right now. And it just had earnings. And you're in a pre-market breakout, after hours breakout. No, wait for the pullback. And look what happened. See, this thing might be a good buy come in Friday. I did scalp it. But, I've swung this one when I bought the dip yesterday. So we're going to see if this thing does break out. I got the September calls right here. And we'll just have to see what happens. I think I'm up on it right now. And if I get up a couple $100, couple dollars on this contract, so I'll go ahead and sell them. I'll take my profit. We're in a market before the election. You got to be in the now. I can't emphasize how important. I've been here 20 years, so I've been through, and I've watched the market ever since Reagan, Bush, second Bush, Obama. Then I'm thinking I missed one. Trump, and then this idiot that we have in there right now. And this market is being, pumped big time on printed money. So I'm looking for a crash, but I ain't ready yet. But I'm looking for one, and then I'm going to trade puts, and I'm going to just trade this. I'm an excellent knife catcher, so I'm prepared in case we do go into a big downturn. I scalp that thing every single day. I don't swing stocks that much, not so close into an election, and not so close when we're pumped up so high on this AI sector. So you got to be very careful. I'm telling people to be very careful. I know stocks like Boeing. Boeing sucks. But the fat cats want to buy these dips. They want to buy the dip. You can see the runs that we're having and the movement, the volume. You got a falling wedge right here. You got a head and shoulders. You got a double top. You got all kinds of stuff going on here. You got a 1 2 bits 3 bits 4. Take that inverse head and shoulders and run it up to a 1 2 3 4 and get out of it, or ask for a little bit more. But this is Boeing. So pay attention to the news. You got to be in the now. You got to be on top of things if you want to learn how to trade stocks. So I think that's about it. I just wanted to kind of go over this for you and just show you how I wake up in the morning. I'm up at 1 o'clock, 1:30 in the morning. I'm meditating, doing my exercises, getting ready to go to work. And then I'm listening all morning long on CNBC. And I'm singing and I'm cussing and I'm going to be in the good mood. I get to my desk. I want to have my coffee and my water ready. I want to be well urinated, just in case I decide to take a trade and I don't want to leave the desk. And I can buy the dip, or I can go ahead and just run it on up. But I don't want to have to leave the desk for the first hour and a half. I'll take off my shoes. I'll get real comfortable. I'll listen to a song, just kind of mellow me out from being being exhausted working. And I want to be well mentally. I don't want to be a worrywart. I don't want to think about anything that's bothering me. I wipe it all out. I don't dream about stocks at night. I dream about girls and being in the ocean and doing all kinds of stuff. So that's it. Basically, that's what keeps me going in the day. I showed you how I like to chart, and I'll do that with any stock that I'm watching. Meta's another good one to be always watching every day. You know, it's had huge pullbacks. Zuck now came out and said that he had to censor us, which I did get censored. I got thrown in jail for about 3 days one time for saying something smart about Biden, which was, you know, I didn't say nothing. I never say anything smart about that man. It's usually something that Facebook didn't want to hear, like Hunter and the crack pipe and all that stuff. But he's come out and he's turned a Trumpster now because we were being censored. So that the fat cats find it as a weakness. I find it as a strong point. So I'm going to take these dips, and I'm looking for previous places where I can get in this trade where I think I can find support, or look for a pattern or something to get in these trades, like this double bottom here. Friday, Meta. I mean, it pulled back to yesterday's low, and what happened? Lo and behold, boom, right out of a snake. And this is the strategy that I teach. It's a real simple strategy. You just draw your, and anybody, I can teach anybody how to trade. You just got to have the willingness and the heart to get her on. We got a couple snakes in here. You know, we got this knife right here, breakout, pull back, and then she traded 1, 2, 3 and bounced. Then we had that double bottom. We have the channel where I could take it, find resistance, and get out of the trade. Then we broke out of that, pulled back, boom. So yeah, this is a real simple strategy that I'm teaching right now. So you can go back and watch all my little videos that I've done. I'm live on YouTube every day. Here's another snake. Breakout, pull back, boom. Snake, breakout, pull back, boom. Snake, we got a head and shoulders, breakout, boom, right to the trend line. Get out of the trade. Hit that 200 SMA. So yeah, this video, it took a little bit longer. I hope it was kind of entertaining. Just be ready. We're opening up Tuesday morning. I just wanted to show you my strategy, how I kind of, and I've got all kinds of stuff going on. You know, every day's not the same, but that's basically every day what I do in the morning. I might be out of a routine, or something might be some real good news on something, and I want to watch it for the pullback, because everything pulls back. You never want to jump in a trade that's running up unless you know exactly when to get out, because you can get stuck in it and you're screwed. Doesn't matter how good the stock is or how good the news is, they're going to pull back. And sometimes when they're real good earnings, I hardly ever take them trades. I'll wait for the pullback. I'll wait 3 days if it's bad earnings and run it up back to the top. There's all kinds of strategies out there to do. But again, I go from the highest volume of the day to the biggest losers of the day, and I'll do this real fast. Within a minute, I'll know exactly when the bell rings which ones I want to watch by just doing them 3 steps. I'm already in the now because I've listened to CNBC, which is a pump station for Biden and Harris. They're run by a bunch of liberals. They're more conservative, I think, on Schwab, and they're more realistic in their call-outs, and I really love that channel. It's helped me a lot. It really has. It's cleared my mind, you know. And I'll have that chart drawn up on the SPY, and I'll know exactly if we're going to be bullish, and I can go trade other trades knowing how that SPY trades. I called these puts, and I should have held them, and I'm so stupid for not holding them that day. And then in the calls, when I got in the calls, I mean, that sucker run all the way up. They were worth a lot of money, 60, 70,000 bucks. I could have made in 4 hours, 5 hours. But if you were live listening to me on YouTube, you didn't want to hear me much because I wasn't very happy. I wasn't bitching, but I was saying, oh God, what am I going to do? Am I going to hold it? Am I going to hold these? I'm down. Oh man, I'm down. I'm down $1,200. God, I don't know what. I'm down 1,600. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm starting to worry a lot, and I keep fighting that mental thing. You know, I found out that every time I sell something, I regret it 100,000%. Almost every single time. So I just hold on to them anymore. If I lose it, I lose it, but I don't lose it. I've had so many successful trades by holding on instead of selling at a loss that I don't need to do that anymore. I'm not telling you to do it. I'm not telling you to cost average down. But when I'm in trouble in a trade, I don't want to sell it at a loss. I'll wait for, I think, that next support, and I'll add on. And it's a risky strategy, but also it's not that risky once you've done it a while and you realize. Just go back in your books and say, man, I sold that at a loss, and then at the end of the day, it's up. How many times do you regret selling them at a loss? But you've got to learn to use that stop. You've got to learn to use it, especially if you have a small account. You've got to wait and build it up before you can risk what you think you can risk. So that's it. This is the Sneaky Snake trading strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And I just kind of wanted to go over my daily routine when it comes to trading and see if that helps you out any bit at all. And have a great day. I love stocks, Vegas.